my spooky friends. We have a special treat for you today. I have Courtney from Haunts with me. How you doing, Courtney?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, pleasure's mine. So before we get into Dairyland Frights and everything like that, I want you to tell my fans a little bit about Haunts, a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So, Haunts podcast is a narrative style podcast for the most part. I do have guests and friends come on from time to time to share stories on a more conversational base. But for the most part, I write out a narrative style piece and then tell a ghost story from a more, I don't want to say like, it is a skeptical perspective. I like to look at both sides of the argument. But I'm also definitely a believer. So I kind of try to keep myself accountable with looking at both sides of things while still telling a scary story or like a spooky legend. You can find me on social media. I have a Twitter and a Instagram account, which is just at HauntsCast. Or you can find me on just on the internet at hauntscast.com. And just a little bit about myself. I've been kind of independently working as a paranormal researcher. I've had like odds and end jobs in the background as well, but my main like focus has been paranormal research for, if my memory serves me correctly, like 8 years. I was trying to do the math the other day and I'm like, it's somewhere in that like 7-8 year range. Right. I'm not the best at math. I'm not going to lie. So, don't quote me on that, but, yeah. So for about 7 or 8 years, I've been working as a paranormal researcher, kind of digging into different like urban legends and paranormal stories, to kind of try to make sense of it all. If any of your listeners have heard of me or as you and I have talked, I've had a lot of experiences just, throughout the years that I've been trying to make sense of. Right. And that kind of led me down this path of paranormal research and paranormal investigations. So, that's kind of my background in this field.
That is awesome. So Courtney has a little bit of a problem. Maybe you can help her listeners. She is getting locked out of her house by she believes an entity. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's a lot to this house and just to my own like history. I've spoke about it in passing on various different people's podcasts as well as my own. But yeah, so this house specifically has just kind of a weird history to it. I don't want to like triangulate to where I live, right, but it has a connection to an unsolved murder in my town, in southwestern Montana. Nothing happened here, like just to.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I'd be able to like mentally handle that, just knowing that like some sort of tragedy happened. But this house does have a connection to an unsolved murder in my town. So there's a part of me that believes that it might be the victim, unfortunately.
Oh boy.
But also I have just always had paranormal experiences. So who's to say that there's just not something else coming in and out? And then I was telling a friend of mine the other day that a recent revelation that I came across is, I don't know if you've brought this up on your show at all, but I've spoken about it kind of in passing here and there on the internet, where two mirrors facing each other can create a portal. Ooh. And the previous owner of my house, the one who owned it in between that event happening and me, so he isn't involved in like the crime itself at all in any capacity, but he put in these mirrors in my kitchen, in like the kitchen window, so they're facing one another. Okay. So I'm like, that might be a portal. Just the house in general, as well as just myself researching the paranormal all the time. And my husband is not so, he's more skeptical than I am, but he's intrigued by it. And I think the energy that we have together can maybe invite stuff in. Essentially, there's something here we don't know where it came from, and we're still kind of trying to research and figure that out. But yes, it does lock me out of the house from time to time. So if you guys have any feedback on how I can fix that, please let me know.
So dairylandfrights@gmail.com. Let me know. Courtney, is there an email at Hans that they can maybe send you?
So you guys can contact me. It's just contact@hauntscast.com. And that'll just come straight to my, personal inbox, to be honest. But also, I think that if you go onto my website, there's a contact page and you can just type a message there and it'll also come to my email, whatever's easier. But yeah, if you guys know of any solution for a spirit that locks me out, or if you guys want to tell us about your personal stories,
please.
Yeah, for real, because that's my favorite, to hear people's, obviously I love all ghost stories, but to hear about people's personal accounts, I think is really fun.
And don't be scared too. So, me and Courtney are not going to make fun of you. We're probably going to believe you. We're going to give you guys our opinion. Take it or leave it, I guess.
And just advice hopefully. I mean, out of the amount of time that I've spent just in this world, and I don't want to say it's pointless knowledge, but it's definitely not an area of expertise that most people go into. So hopefully there's some good that can come out of all of the information that I have stored in my mind about ghosts and spirits and the other side.
So just before we get into my little fun story here, I did a episode with Courtney on a haunted, I would say Western ghost town. I wouldn't say that, but it was really interesting. Can you give a little tease of that? So when this comes out.
So when this comes out, it'll be out I want to say a weekish later, 2 weeks later, over on my channel. And it's about a small mining township in southwest Montana that has a kind of a sad ghost story.
Very sad.
But also we talk about serial killers and obviously talk about ghosts and just kind of the history of the town itself. So if you're into this sort of kind of old country western cowboy vibes, definitely go check it out. Or if you're just interested and you love John and I, go for it, because I think we had a really good time on that episode. I'm really excited to put it out.
We talked we had some really good sidelights of talking about personal stories too. So it is awesome. So Courtney, what I'm going to do here is just to let you guys know, Courtney has no idea what I'm going to ask her. Okay. So this is a surprise. All right. So,
this is off the cuff.
Yes. So, Courtney, have you ever heard of the Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm really excited though.
Okay, this is awesome because
it's not a penitentiary, is it?
Yes, it is. They called it a reformatory.
Oh, okay. Maybe I have.
Because they didn't want to be politically incorrect. Which you'll find out they're politically incorrect.
Oh.
So.
Well, honestly, as most wanted jail or prisons are.
Wait till you hear this. This. Now, you might know it. Do you watch movies? I imagine you watch movies, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, yeah. Mostly scary, but this kind of, I feel falls into it.
Have you ever watched The Shawshank Redemption?
Yeah.
That's the prison.
Is this the same place?
That's the same place.
Oh my gosh.
Same.
Okay, I'm very excited.
Also, Air Force One was filmed there. And Tango and Cash, one of my favorite cop buddy movies, was Sly Stallone and Kurt Russell in the early 90s when they were all sexy and buffed and everything like that. The ladies, I'm sure, like that. And by the way, you can go to this reformatory today and visit it. I'll get into it and take the Shawshank Redemption tour. So let's get the boring stuff out of the way.
How far away is this from me? Hold on a second. That's so cool. I feel like it can't be too far.
From me, it's probably 3 or 4 hours. From you, probably a little longer.
Yeah, probably a little longer, but I'm willing to travel.
Yes.
for haunted locations, just as like an aside. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm definitely adding that to my list of places to see.
You will definitely add it after I finish today. Um, so I got to get the boring stuff out of the way, like we always say. So my sources include the most haunted jails in America website, Mansfield Ghost Walks. So there's a ghost tour, obviously, in Ohio. The Ohio State Reformatory Experience, which includes the Shawshank Redemption tour. Ghost Adventures, because I love those guys because they're kind of goofy. Eastern State Penitentiary, believe it or not, they have their own website. You can go on. I'll put the links in the show notes. And Reddit. So
sick.
Let's get.
Also, I appreciate you adding the sources. I really feel like that's important to take into account. Like when you're telling these stories, I list all of mine on my website. And like I was listening to, like I said, your show the other day, and I was just really happy that you listed the sources. So I want to thank you for doing that, because I hate it when people are like, they'll tell you all about it in their podcast, and then it's like, how do I look more into this? And they don't tell me anything. So for sure. Thank you for doing that.
Absolutely. So Courtney, let's get spooky. Okay. So.
Okay. I'm ready.
The Ohio State Reformatory, over the course of 94 years, 154,000 inmates pass through the doors of it. Okay. Now, if you go online, you can look at this. It's a gorgeous stone structure, Courtney, that looks more like a castle than a prison. So
I'm going to look now.
Take a look at it. Also, I'll put pictures on Instagram and all that good stuff. So it was. This is what I love. This is the way prison should be. You know, nobody wants to go to prison, but you know, whatever. So it was founded on.
It really does look like a castle.
It does. It's gorgeous. Anyway,
it's really pretty.
It's very pretty.
Sorry.
No, keep going. Founded as a holding for intermediate first-time offenders. The Ohio State Reformatory, also known as the Mansfield Reformatory. Remember, I didn't say prison or penitentiary. It was a reformatory. Okay. So it was designed for rehabilitation in mind. So in other words, you know, maybe people who are drunk or whatever, right? It's just the first time offense.
So it kind of acts almost like as like a halfway kind of point in between.
Kind of.
Like, we're going to try to get you back on your feet situation, or at least that's what the intention was. I'm assuming that didn't actually happen, but.
Correct. And I'll get into that, which is really cool. So you're right on. Courtney, you're so smart. Even today,
Thank you. I try.
Even today, its beautiful arches and bright brick exterior, like you said, makes the defunct prison appear, like I said, more like they said a mansion. Do you agree with that? I don't think a mansion, but a castle, definitely.
I think, yeah, it reminds me of like, I don't even know how to explain it. It doesn't really look like a mansion because it has this like giant, I guess if you took away like the tower in the middle, it would look like honestly kind of a modern like mansion that you would see in like maybe Beverly Hills.
Absolutely.
But with the towers that it has in place, it really more to me looks like a small castle, like maybe you would see like for a lord in like the hills of England or something like that.
Right on. So you're probably asking, why would they do that? Well, these design choices were purposeful and intended to inspire all those who enter its halls. So it was like hey, this is really like inspirational. This is, hey, let's see, myself getting better, right? Rather than a prison nowadays, it looks like.
Right. It's supposed to kind of inspire the inmates to get back on their feet versus act like it's. I mean, it is. I mean, if you're being sentenced there, it's obviously kind of like going to be a punishment, but they didn't want you to feel like that. Is what I'm assuming.
Absolutely,
is kind of the intention there.
Now
that's interesting.
So, however, many died of disease like influenza, tuberculosis, excuse me, my mush mouth.
Oh, God, yeah.
Some went mad, others hung themselves, and at least one
oh my gosh.
inmate this is crazy, lit himself on fire. Just
Why?
uh
Oh my Lord.
you'll kind of find out why. Down.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
teasing it. I'm totally teasing.
That is not what I was.
Yeah.
That is not what I was expecting you to say. Like when you're going through and you're kind of saying like the generic kind of like,
disease.
I hate to say, but causes of death when you're in prison.
Yeah.
And then it's like one inmate lit himself on fire. That was not at
Yeah.
all where I thought you were going with
Oh,
that.
it gets worse.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
worse. So just outside.
Worse than catching yourself on
Oh, yeah.
fire?
Oh, yeah. You wait.
Oh, this is intense.
This just outside the reformatory stand 215 unmarked graves, a vivid testament to the harsh reality of prison life. So remember
So it's all
go ahead.
for like inmates?
Correct. So they didn't even
Okay.
put the names.
Just making sure I'm following.
Yeah, they didn't even put the names.
That's really sad.
Yeah, they just said, this guy sucked.
Throw them out there.
Yep.
I mean, that's kind of the same as my story.
That's what I was
but
gonna
at
say.
least we know like who they are now. There were only 5 of them though.
Yeah.
So
So
that makes a little bit more sense.
yeah, absolutely. 215. That's a lot of graves. Okay.
Mm-mm.
So prison life. So Courtney, you're probably wondering, what is prison life like? I would love to go to prison, right, Courtney?
Maybe not the last half of that. I am interested to see what it's like there though. Don't want to go and like check in for a long-term stay, but I'd be interested to learn more about
Nobody wants to. So this is really cool. And they do this today in prisons, which I'm not prison reformatory. That's a whole different podcast and a whole different thing. But anyway, in this setting, inmates will learn practical trade. Believe this? I cannot believe this, excuse me, such as engineering or plumbing. So when they got out, they actually could like,
do something. Yeah.
And that would,
That's awesome.
Yeah, so cool. And invest in,
At least in theory. I'm waiting for it to get bad.
it's going to get bad. I'm sorry, folks.
I know.
We're
I can
teasing
already
this
tell.
a little too. But they invest in skills meant to turn their lives around. Duh. Makes sense, right? I mean, you made a mistake.
Right, yeah, and that's a great...
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not like they like hurt anybody.
No.
Like you said, these are minor offenses, first-time offenders.
Yeah.
So
the system worked remarkably well in the initial years. And here comes the big but, or however, I should say. Compared to other reformatory facilities, convicts who finished serving their sentences at Mansfield were considerably less likely to be repeat offenders. So everything is working out, right? This is great. You're learning a skill. I'm not a repeat offender. I'm getting on with my life. In fact, at one time, Mansfield boasted one of the lowest resentencing rates in the country, as the former cons took advantage of their second chances in life. Right? Why don't we do that?
That's really cool.
Why don't we do this? And you got to...
I mean, yeah, because you have to think, too, like, a lot of inmates will go and, like, get their college degree, even in prison. So, for whatever reason, I just think that's, like, really cool. Maybe not for people who, like, are genuinely evil, but, like, if you made a mistake, like you said, and you're overall, this is your first offense, and for the most part, like, your life has been, like, pretty on the straight and narrow. I don't see why that would, I kind of like this. Yeah. Obviously not if you're murdering people or like genuinely like an evil monster, but like if you're just making a mistake one time, let's go for this.
But here it comes, Courtney. Unfortunately, this system and its successes would not last. Due to the ballooning prisoner population in the United States, the Ohio State Reformatory idyllic rehabilitation structure could not continue. Its funding was cut. Okay, that's your first problem. And the facility made its transition into a maximum security prison. So think about this, Courtney. It's just first-time offenders, I don't know, drunk driving, whatever. Now you're next to an axe murderer. Right? That is
not good.
Not good at all.
I will say though, like, this happens, I feel like, I don't want to say all the time, but it seems like there are these like I said, kind of halfway points of like, let's try to turn your life around. And they always get taken over by these maximum security prisons. Like there's another one. Is that what happened in Charleston? Or was that one always just maximum security?
I'm not sure on that one, but it could have been. Yeah. I'm not really sure.
I feel like this happens or happen frequently.
Yes, it does.
And it's sad.
It is very sad. Oh. So this is the problem. So their funding's cut. Now you're having lunch with an axe murderer. It was never intended for this. Okay. So
I'm sorry. Can you imagine? You're having just like right there next to you is just like, you know, the Jeffrey Dahmers of the world. Come on.
Yeah. You're like some guy who bounced checks or had bad credit and like, I don't know, like something like that. And then you turn around and I ate people.
Oh God.
What?
I'm gonna go over here.
Thanks, dude.
I gotta go home.
So, again, never intended for this. So, like I said, it's relatively harmless first-time offenders. Next to violent, unpredictable, repeat offenders were added to the mix. And you can guess the next. A bunch of tragedies happen. So, frequent riots.
And I'm assuming there was probably a lot of poor treatment.
Oh, boy.
Or malpractice, I guess I should say.
Oh, boy. You're going to hear it.
All right, I'm buckling in.
So, yes, this is R-rated part of the podcast. Frequent riots and limited space forced unheard of conditions where single occupancy solitary confinement cells was shared by, get this, 6 men at a time. So, like this.
I've heard of this place before.
Yeah.
I've heard of this place before. Now that we're getting into it, like all of like the tragedies.
Yes.
Oh, no. Okay.
So fires would break out. Guards were killed. Men would take their own lives as the conditions in Mansfield quickly decline. Now, here's something that I just want to throw in here before we get to the spooky stuff, because I thought it was like weird that this didn't happen sooner. But so all these terrible things, men are being killed, guys lighting themselves on fire, guards being killed, riots, you name it. It's horrible. So somebody finally did a lawsuit and it was coordinated by former inmates who aimed at the state of Ohio. And in the end, the facility was closed by a court order this isn't that too far ago, 1990.
What?
So
that was like relatively modern history. Are you kidding?
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I will put on the website and different links in there that you'll see like all this information about it. It's crazy. So remember I told you, which is even weirder, is 5 movies have been filmed there. The Shawshank Redemption, Tango and Cash, and Air Force One, The Last Castle, and there's one other one that I couldn't find that said filmed there. And again, like I said, you could tour the prison.
Please tell me they caught Paranormal Activity on camera.
So, Courtney, that's a great catch. I couldn't find anything.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
I wish they could. I didn't see anything. I really tried to find stuff. That they were filming Tango and Cash and there's a shadow, or they're filming Shawshank. Although I did read where Tim Robbins, the star of Shawshank Redemption, and the other gentleman, I always forget his name, the black actor. He's a really good black actor, and I'm blanking on him right now.
Is it Morgan Freeman?
Thank you very much, Courtney.
He's the one who's in there, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So they both said when they were like eating lunch, like they would just put them out in their trailers outside the prison, but they'd be eating lunch and then they would feel like someone's watching them in their trailer. Like they would just be like, what?
Ooh.
And they were both laughing it off there because Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman do not believe in the paranormal, I guess. Maybe they do, but they laughed it off. They were like, it's just me from working all these hours and everything. Now,
yeah, I'm going stir crazy in this prison.
Yeah. And, they were filming 14,
Yeah, that makes
16
sense.
hours a day. So imagine you're in this prison 14, 16 hours a day. I mean, it's going to get to you, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also, I gotta think it's physically dark in there. I mean, even with their like lights and stuff, if you walk away from the actual set,
Right.
it's gotta be like kind of dark in there,
So, like you were saying, you want to go there. You might want to look this up because they have ghost hunts walks. You can rent the place for special events, which I don't know why you do that, but okay. But there's a really cool thing. I'll put in the link and I'll actually send this to you after the episode, Courtney.
Thank
It's
you.
called
This is exciting.
bloodprison.com. And what it is, it's a
What is that?
haunted prison, but the characters will scare the ever living what out of you. So it's a haunted prison experience.
Okay.
So it's like one of those, you walk into the haunted house and like a clown jumps out and goes, oh, and you go, and things like that. But these characters.
Oh, cool. So it's like a haunted house, like set up haunted house?
Yeah, kind of.
In a haunted location.
In the prison. So you
Sick.
actually.
I will go to
in the
that.
prison.
That sounds way up my alley.
So anything, did you want to add? Do you have any more questions about some of the history before I get into the paranormal experiences?
Did they, well, like you said, there's obviously a lot of malpractice there. And this is kind of like the R-rated part of the podcast, but did they ever do anything that was like, I forget the name of the prison that did this, but they would do like water, like ice water baths?
Kind of.
And stuff like that? Or was it a little less stressful?
Well, I wouldn't say less stressful. I mean, people will be put in solitary confinement for a month.
Okay.
And given like
that's terrifying.
Given like bread and water one day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Say and I'll tell you.
Yeah. So like something that can be, not that this is, because to me this whole thing is very dramatic, but just you see a lot of people like doing like when they're talking about these sort of prisons, there's like lobotomies going on. There's like the ice water kind of like not drownings, but they'll like make them get into like their like essentially freeze them to death and stuff like that. So I was just curious if there was any of that.
Kind of.
That can kind of attribute to the hauntings.
Kind of. I'll get into some stories here. So paranormal experiences.
Sweet.
So the ghosts of these violent and maltreated men are not easily silenced. Visitors and tour guides have been pushed and punched by unseen forces.
Oh my gosh.
And I'll get into some down here. I have some actual quotes where people were like, they're going up the stairs and someone grabbed them and pulled them and then they like fell down the stairs. And that's crazy.
Oh my.
Yeah.
That's aggressive.
Very aggressive.
I mean, I've had things like, because obviously, as we mentioned kind of towards the beginning, I have gone to like, my fair share of haunted locations. I've had things like tap me. I've had my like strands of my hair pulled, like something's trying to get my attention. Okay. But I've never and I've heard of people being pushed. Obviously, that's like one, I feel like a common report when you go to a lot of haunted locations. I've never heard of someone being full on punched.
Neither have I.
Like that is
bam,
really intense. Because I mean, like that's a very distinct feeling. Right. So is like having your hair pulled or being pushed. But like to like a punch is like next level. First, like level. At least in my mind, that's intense.
Yes. So as with other haunted location, many claims to feel inexplicable chill while on the grounds. Additionally, witnesses have heard cell doors slam and seen dark apparitions. Well, you're going to get that. Now, this is, we might have to cover this together sometime. I'm going to send you the link to this woman. And when you look at it, you'll be like, oh my God, well, how did I not hear this person? And I'm the same way.
Okay.
So even the road leading to the Ohio State Reformatory is haunted. Local legend suggests it's the ghost of Phoebe Wise, a notorious Mansfield hermit and eccentric, which I want to cover later. So I'm going to give you just a brief explanation of this woman. She supposedly had a treasure buried on her property and was tortured by these men to find this treasure.
Not cool.
Okay. And she actually kind of beat the crap out of the men. And like,
Good for her.
and then that's the only beginnings. Like, men tried to marry her because they thought she was rich, and she had like all this weird. She was a hermit, so people, would like look at her and be like, "Oh, she's kind of strange." But to this day, they don't know if the treasure's real, or because she would say,
That's
like,
what I was going to ask.
she would go into town. This is what I love. She would go into town with a tiara on her head, in a faux like dress, high heels.
I love her.
And she'd walk into town and just be like, la 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 la, like she's the royal queen. And that was just some of it. So I'm going to send you that link. If maybe down the road you'd like to do this with me,
Yeah, I'm
I
intrigued.
think you would love it. So
Because my main question is, why did they think she had the treasure? Obviously, we can get into that when we actually research
big
it, but
deal.
like, why?
Big
And
You'll
how did
find
this
out.
legend come to be?
Do some.
That's awesome.
If you have some time, like I said, I'm gonna send this to you. Do some research. I'm telling you, Courtney, you'll flip out and be like, "Oh my god, I got to do this." Anyway, so let's get into this. This is weird because the bloodiest single incident in the old prison's history actually occurred outside its walls. R-rated, by the way. In July of 1948, when the reformatory's farm boss, his wife, and his daughter were kidnapped and shot to death by two parolees bent on revenge. So,
gosh.
right outside the prison, these two guys escaped. And for some strange reason, I guess the farm boss had been mean to him because, the prisoners would work on the farm, and this farm boss would be extremely mean and like beat him, I guess, stuff like that. So these two parolees, when they got out, that's the first thing they did. They killed the entire family.
That's like,
that's the first thing they did.
I'm like speechless. Sorry, my dog's like freaking out right now. That is awful.
That is awful.
That is genuinely just like, I mean, I guess like you can see like what their motive was,
but still,
but to target like a family.
Why would you kill the daughter and the wife? Like, they had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, why not go after him?
Yeah, just kill him.
Not that he should have gone after anybody, but
so,
or I guess both of them.
Yes. So a 6-state manhunt for the so-called mad dog killers, speaking of dogs, ended in a shootout, left Robert Daniels of Columbus, Ohio, in custody, and his partner James West dead. And this is a different era. So Robert Daniels, when he got caught, he said, "I'll get the chair." And he just told police when he got caught, he goes, "I'll get the chair." And they were like, "Yeah, we're going to kill you."
Oh my gosh. Like he was volunteering.
Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, just kill me. I'm good. My life's over. I did what I had to do."
Oh my gosh.
Just imagine that. A person just,
I got my revenge.
Yeah, I got my revenge. I'm done. Kill me. Like, really? So this is a story you might have heard of. This is probably the most famous one.
Okay.
So a year later, in 1950, disaster struck again. This time in the living quarters of the warden himself. The warden's wife, this is so weird, removing a jewelry box from a closet, dislodged a pistol from its hiding place, and when it hit the floor, the gun went off and killed her.
Oh my gosh. I haven't heard that story. That's like,
yeah.
That's like such a tragedy
Yeah.
in the, like, I mean, obviously all of this is a tragedy, but like just an accident like that. Wow.
And within the decade, even more bad luck. The warden, hard at work in his office, suffered a heart attack and died right then and there.
Oh my.
All this was
Dang.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, okay, what's going on here? And all this was nearly.
Well, something's obviously targeting them.
Yes. Being that the gun, imagine you're sitting there and you're just like, oh, I'm going to go out today. I need some jewelry. And then a gun falls out of your closet and just has the blind luck of landing perfectly and shooting you, killing you. I mean, that's insane to me. That's just.
I mean, even number one, there would have to be like the safety. And who's to say maybe the gun didn't have one or maybe it wasn't on. But for it to fall the perfect angle, like out of
Exactly.
all the places, to me it would like hit your ankles
Mhm.
and you'd be
Right,
like
yeah.
hurt. But
Not
like that to me just seems like the coincidence there seems like 1 in a 100 million
right.
chance.
You have better chance of winning the
Like,
lottery.
yeah, for real.
So
That's terrifying.
all this was nearly 40 years ago and more. And what people have said with the tour guides, they and you gotta remember this is a married couple. So they hear
Mhm.
a man and a woman talking, but it's too faint to understand, but it's too
Mm.
persistent to ignore. And so they find that it's very chilling to listeners. So imagine, if you're having an argument, hey honey, why didn't you get that done? I don't know. And you're like, what are they saying? But I can hear them. And they apparently
It kind of reminds me of like Charlie Brown. Like that's what, when they're like the teacher's talking, that's what I'm picturing. Obviously that's not the case because like I'm sure it's a lot spookier, but like that's what I'm picturing is like you can tell there's like something happening. You just don't know what it is and you're straining to hear, trying to figure it out and decipher.
This is super. You got to ask your husband this. So they are forever locked in this endless conversation from beyond the grave. So ask your husband, hey, honey, if we died under mysterious circumstances and haunted this house, we're not going to sit here and like have this endless conversation that nobody can. That's just weird to me. Like, what are they talking about? That's fascinating. It's like, what could they be talking about?
Well, that's kind of going off the concept of like we spoke about it in the episode that we did over on my podcast about the differences between residual and intelligent hauntings. What if they're just continuously having the same conversation over and over and over again?
Right.
How boring of an afterlife could that be?
The worst.
I hope that's not the case.
Yeah,
but
I hope it's not either. So I am next, unless you want to bring up something else, going to get into 8 most haunted sites at the Reformatory.
Ooh.
So
let's go.
Let's go.
I'm excited.
So the first one, well, these are in no particular order, but the East Wing, first floor, toilet room, and East showers. Lately, and this is coming from, most haunted sites at the Reformatory. This is one of the ghost walk places that I want to tell you.
Cool.
So this is what they're saying. So this is when the ghost walks go on. Then they just kind of give you kind of a brief idea what's going on in each place. So lately, this area has been pretty good for experiences and evidence. Rarely do we have a night where nobody experiences at least a few shadow people down there. So I
want to go here so bad.
That's the first one. That's the East Wing.
Rarely you have a night.
Yeah, it's
that's
rare.
Awesome.
And this is coming from the guides and the people who do the ghost walks, like I said. So number 7, third floor, or number 2, whatever. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Third floor.
We're counting down actually to the scariest one.
I guess so. I'm not sure, but okay. So first one was number 8, this is number 7. I don't know if they're in particular order, but they're still all really scary. So
cool.
Third floor, middle admin. This is the area that gets a lot of people. Gets to a lot of people.
For some context here, like the middle, are we talking about where, and for the listeners at home, I'm sure you've looked at it on Instagram and stuff, but where the tower is that just for my visual clarity?
Yeah,
is that what we're kind of thinking?
Yeah, it's kind of like the middle area where all the paperwork gets done and everything, kind of right in that area. So this makes total sense. So what they said, this is an area that gets to a lot of people, and they see shadow people, they hear audible voices, footsteps, and a feeling of not being alone are the norm.
Ooh.
Yes. Which makes sense because this is a busy place.
Imagine?
People are in and out. And,
yeah, I guess that's true.
So this is my
people
favorite.
Are kind of coming and going, and like you said, there's over how many people were like?
It was over 154.
I guess staying here.
It was over 154,000 over the years. So, at one
Yeah.
time, it's thousands
So a lot
of
of people in and
Yes.
out.
So
Okay, that makes sense. That does check
this
out.
is the one I'm going to, the first one. It's number 6, the sub-basement. So the sub,
Is that where they do solitary
yeah,
confinement?
kind of. This
I don't like it.
this area has produced some pretty wild experiences and evidence. This area was even avoided when the building was still in operation. So this sub-basement, when it was still in operation, people did not like going down there. And what they would
Yeah,
experience
I can see that.
is everything from getting punched, pulled, tripped, and feeling like someone is about to murder them. Like you get
Oh my God.
you get like a feeling like, let's say you like, I don't know, God forbid if this ever happens, but let's say you're out somewhere and you just go get a cup of coffee and some guy comes in with a shotgun. That feeling where you're like, oh my God, this
Yeah.
is it. This guy's going to kill me.
Imminent death. Yeah.
That's sub-basement. That's where I'm going first.
That's where you want to go first?
Absolutely.
Honestly, I don't know. I've done some pretty wild stuff when it comes to like paranormal investigations. So I like to say like, no, that's scary. I don't know if I'd want to do that, but let's be honest, I probably would too.
I'm not
running down there to see it.
I'm not saying I wouldn't scream like a little girl and run out of there. I'm just saying.
Same. But also then you can say that you've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay.
So
I'm with you. I'd be there with you.
Awesome. Number 5 is the chapel. So this is duh. We know a bunch of churches are haunted and stuff. I'm sure that's an easy one. This is funny though. The area's made many skeptics less skeptical. Okay. And this is the funniest quote I've ever heard. Well, one of the funniest. Lately, the ghosts have been getting rather grabby up there.
In the church?
In the church. So you're like,
Lord, that's scandalous.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you're like sitting there, la, 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 and someone's like grabbing areas they shouldn't grab. And you're like, what the heck? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, man, we're the church.
That's, I hate to say, but that's so funny to me. I mean, obviously don't want to be like touched by anything,
but not grabby.
Inappropriately human or spirit, like living person or spirit. But like, it's the fact that it's in the church or the chapel, I guess, just makes it all the more like, really?
Yeah.
To me, like, are you serious?
What are we doing? So I didn't know.
Oh my God, I cannot.
I didn't know prisons have this, but I guess they have an attic. Okay. So the West Attic, number 4.
Oh, I didn't know they had that either.
Number 4, the West Attic. So number 5 is the chapel. Number 6 is the sub-basement. Let's just say, and we got to work together on this, Courtney, see if we can find this person. Let's just say a very well-known paranormal celebrity had an experience up there and refused to go back in. I'm not going to say who it is. I'll just say that he grabbed his scarf and walked out. Anything?
Sorry.
Anything? Grabbed his scarf and walked out. I'm like, who is a paranormal with a scarf? I don't know.
Do you know who it is?
No, I don't. That's why I'm asking you. Do you know who it is?
No? Okay. I mean, grabbed his scarf. And it's like a famous?
It says a well-known...
Like somebody like on like Discovery Network or something?
Probably. I don't know. I looked it up. I tried looking it up. I could not find anything. So...
I could not tell you who that would be. Well, because like my initial reaction was it's Zach Baggins because you said like that you got information from their show. Or maybe one of his crew members, but I don't think any of them wear scarves. I mean, maybe they do.
So
I guess I've seen Zach wearing his scarf before, actually. Okay. But that doesn't sound like him, not gonna lie.
So,
because normally he's the guy who's like, ready to like kind of, I don't want to say antagonize it, but kind of push the envelope.
So, dairylandfrights@gmail.com and Haunts at, I'm sorry, Haunts, what's your email?
Contact at Haunts.
Yes. So please, either one, if you know who the celebrity is, because Courtney and I would love to find out.
I can't think of anybody. Unless it was like maybe, and like no shade to these people because I like them, but maybe like I don't even know if they've been there, but the Project Fear team.
Yes.
I know when it's like when they go to these colder places, I want to say that their camera guy maybe wears a scarf.
Okay.
And I know that they've had to take breaks from places, but I don't know if they've ever been there.
Okay.
So I couldn't, I don't know.
Well,
I couldn't tell you.
Dairyland
That's
Frights,
interesting.
gmail.com. So admin.
Yeah. Send them an email. Let us know.
Yes, please. Admin basement. This is hilarious. There are two entities down there. One is nice, Courtney, while the other is not.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay. They always seem to go hand in hand like that.
Yeah.
They always do. One that's like trying to warn you and the other one that's trying to scare you or worse.
Yes. So that was number 3. Number 2, the cell blocks, east and west. I've seen these areas. This would be me.
I can imagine they're bad.
This would be me, I have to say, because I can get emotional sometimes. I've seen these areas bring grown men to tears, where they just, what I was reading about, where people have gone in this, and they just all of a sudden just feel sad. And just like, they just start crying.
It's probably the energy there.
Yes.
Like we said earlier, you have to imagine like being somebody who, like you said, first time offender, made a mistake.
Yeah.
Say, not that you should, and I'm not condoning this in any way, shape, or form, but say you had a little too much to drink and decided to drive home. Big mistake.
Exactly.
Something you shouldn't do.
Correct.
But that doesn't make you an evil person. No. And then you're being put next to somebody who's like wielding an axe, murdering his family. I can imagine that's very sad to think that you had this opportunity to kind of turn your life around, get a degree even in engineering or something else, and then have it just be kind of taken away. Like I would be heartbroken.
So
if that was like how my life turned out.
So you're right on. Many murders and suicides have took place in these areas, like a lot. So the number 1 is scary, spooky place in Ohio State Reformatory, solitary confinement, aka the hole.
100%. Yeah.
So
this is where I feel like happiness goes to die.
Correct.
Is the hole.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm holding on.
Yeah. So
tell me about it.
This is the prison, they say, inside the prison. So imagine that. A prison inside a prison? How worse can it get? Like, this is terrible.
I'm assuming there's no lights.
Yeah, nothing.
There's no lights. There's no interaction. Obviously, solitary confinement.
Yeah,
all right.
So, again, many men took their lives while in this. You basically, again, there was no light. You're stuck in this box within a box for, could be a month. The cockroaches are basically feeding on you. That could be your meal one day. What some stories in here where people would eat cockroaches. You would get it. Oh, yeah. You would get, if you were lucky, a slice of bread and water that would have to last you anywhere from 2 to 3 days. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Mm-hmm.
That is like cruel and unusual punishment.
Yes, it is.
You know, I mean, like solitary confinement nowadays, isn't it? Just like you have a normal cell, you just don't have a cellmate.
It's still terrible, right? Yes, I believe so.
I don't have. Oh my god. Okay.
Both of us don't want to be there. Let's just put it that way.
No one wants to be there. I mean, I'm scared of the dark. Yeah. Like I'm not going to be down there.
No, not going to happen. Not going to happen. So I have a feature on my podcast because I always like to make fun of Reddit. Now, Reddit had a ton of video evidence on this place, which I can't even get into. I could literally just blast my pages with just, I saw a shadow. I saw an apparition. Here's a video of it. Here's that. I'm like, okay. So I have this, and it's called Mildly Scary Tales from Reddit. That's one of my features.
Let's do it.
So Here's the two
Yeah.
things. This is people saying this, okay? And I won't give out their names or anything. I'm just going to do a quote of them. Okay, so first quote.
Okay.
That shower room is 100% haunted. We were here today. There was a loud banging noise before we walked in, so we figured someone is in there doing something. But when we got in there, the noise immediately stopped and the room was totally empty. Then we walked back and the noise started again.
Oh my God. That's very, like, that's intelligent.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, we've been caught. Everybody be quiet.
Now,
okay, continue.
Now, something interesting to this, part of the thing I did not put in is this long quote, but the people who were there, one of the people were in the Navy and they had to learn Morse code. So when the guy said he walked out and he turned like his brother or something, his brother said, who was in the Navy, said, "That's Morse code." And they were like, "What?"
Does he know what it was saying?
Help. He kept on saying, help, 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 help.
Oh my God, that's so sad.
Yeah. So in the shower.
And you got to think, like.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, is it like. I hate to say, I feel like people, like, that's the place if you're going to get, like, shivved. It's going to be in the bathroom.
Absolutely.
That's really sad.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yes. That was the worst place you do not want to be in. So, like I said, I went through a lot of pictures from Reddit. That was the best one, believe it or not, because, you know, as paranormal investigators, you know, we respect each other, obviously. We do know when it's just like dust or humidity or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what I saw a lot of. Like, oh, that's just dust. That's not an orb. It's a dusty place.
Yeah. I was going to say, when you brought it up, like mildly scary stories, I mean, with all of the photo evidence, I'm sure there's few and far between that are actually legitimate.
Yeah.
And I'm sure these people are well-meaning, saying like you said, maybe dust or like say a bug that's kind of further off in the distance that may look like an orb.
Correct.
Obviously, if you're not like as into this as you and I are, let's say, then you may not know any better.
Right.
So you might be posting this online, and to you and me, it's obvious that it's not an orb. But to them, maybe not. So I think that's telling. Yeah. Not all of the evidence, I guess, that's coming out of here is going to be real. But I'm sure there is some evidence that's coming out that is.
Absolutely. And there was some I saw that was really interesting, taken from more experienced people like ourselves, ghost adventures, ghost walk people. One of the things I want to do is EVPs one day. So maybe we'll do a joint show or something like that. Because there were some EVPs that were pretty good. That were, like, help me, murder you. I heard murder you, help me, die, swearing, like, F you. Just a lot of, you could hear it clearly, like, die. Like, I heard die clearly, and murder.
And I'm assuming there wasn't like any sort of like caption.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like you had to listen. That's when I find like EVPs or the spirit box is more, I don't want to say accurate, but it's easier to kind of be like, this is like true evidence. When you can hear something and it's not like I'm watching a show or a YouTube video where someone's giving me the caption, like I can just hear it and you don't need to caption it. That's when I feel like it's really compelling evidence.
Correct. So last but not least, I love this. I saw some comments from the Ghost Walk, so you can comment on their page. Okay. So me and you, we totally missed this, Courtney. Totally missed this. It's one of those you just go, that is genius. How do you come up with that name? Grave Addiction. That is his handle. Grave Addiction.
That's amazing.
Right. Grave Addiction. Why did I think of that?
I want to go follow them. That's awesome.
Yes. So he said, there's a couple from him in here. He said, I just got back from visiting Mansfield and we had an experience in the cell marked with an X. So there are cells, and for reasons why, I didn't want to get too down a rabbit hole, but there's like an X on the cell. Nobody know in the cell, excuse me. Nobody knows why there's an X, just an X. So when they said they were going past the cell and everything, the tour guide was like, "Hey, this is the X cell, whatever." And then all of a sudden, the guide, I guess, went silent, and it sounded like running, and it sounded like there was somebody running towards them near the X cell. Okay, and then they said they heard a voice, and they don't have the EVP of this, which I wish they did, because this is a great EVP, excuse me. The voice said, "Running is not allowed."
Oh my God.
Like, that's what they heard.
That's like the lifeguard. No running by the pool.
Yeah. They heard clear as day.
Oh my gosh.
Running is not allowed. And then someone saw not the X cell, but a distant cell door slam. So this is my favorite thing after this, really quickly. Then I'll have you comment on it. So after that happened, like I said, they're looking at it, and the guide is saying, "This is the X cell, blah, 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 blah." They hear the voice. When they hear the running, they hear the voice, slam the door. And then they said, they looked over at the guide who was doing the tour. He was soaking with sweat. Like, he was like terrified.
Oh my God. And he does the tour as a job?
Does the tour as a job.
So that's not like that's his like full-time gig?
Maybe. Or even part-time. Doesn't matter.
Maybe. Yeah, he does it. Yeah, he does it enough. Yeah. My main thing was, just to clarify, so they heard the voice saying "no running allowed" audibly in their ears. Correct. That is, I mean, it would have been an insane EVP, but like, imagine the power that spirit had to just say that and make it an audible voice out loud, just for everyone to hear.
I know.
That's nuts.
That's awesome. And I love EVPs because it was just really cool. So, grave addiction again. I guess grave addiction must be addicted to going this tour. So he says,
I want to know if that like a creator.
I'm not really sure.
Sorry,
I was gonna look him up, and then this is from like, I don't know, probably like 5-6 years ago on the Ghost Walks thing. So it's not like it's recent. It's fairly, well, I should say, 5, I guess is too bad. But anyway, so his quote again was, "God, what a night." I wonder if this happened on the same night. When I read it to you, you'll be like, "Damn, this guy had experiences."
Yeah, if it was all in one night,
could it be? I don't know. Okay, so our group was walking down metal stairs from the tower. My friend and I were in the back with some high school students in front. I'm clumsy and held tight to my friend's hand in the railing. Someone slapped my back. I fell forward into my friend, and it says, and over to the side of the railing, my arm clutched as my muscles pulled to a painful angle. Then down to a knee, I quickly spun around to face my attacker. No one was there.
Oh my God.
So
that is like
crazy, right?
If that happened all in one night, so, like, that must have been like a full moon or something to make it
right.
Like, or maybe they had just like something that could like pull energy from, because like, number one, like I said, you have the audible voice downstairs, and then to have someone not only like push you but grab you and kind of whip you around like that takes like strength from a normal like living person.
Correct.
Whoa.
Remember, people have been punched, they've been slapped, they have been pulled. This is a tip of the iceberg, okay? We could go on for another 2 hours or more with all this stuff.
Yeah.
So
I need to go here.
Yes.
That's all I can think about is like, I just want to go to this.
Yeah, I'll send you the blood thing and you'll go, "Oh my God, I'm totally going."
Books tour.
So in 2007, Michelle, I'm sorry, it's a boring name, but okay.
It's going to be hard to follow grave addictions anyways.
Yeah, it's hard on that one.
Yeah.
So this is great because she actually worked there. So I worked in Mansfield last year and was assigned to the hole. God dang, that's scary. And another girl in the empty space on opposite ends. So actually, there must be two of them, two girls in the hole.
I can't imagine that you would send one person on a post and such, like, you know what I mean? Like you, just for like safety, you would need to have two people. Even if it wasn't haunted, like what if something happened?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So they heard shuffling around in the hallway, thinking it was visitors who didn't know we were there. I looked over to the other girl and smiled as if to say, let's scare them. She smiled back. She's into it, which is fine. So they both jumped out and screamed. The hallway was empty and the shuffling gone. Nobody was there.
They were the ones who actually got scared.
Yeah, they were like the ones I could see it, like two teenage girls, just being like, hey, let's get them. We'll get this crowd. We'll have fun with them. Blah! Oh, there's nobody here.
Yeah. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe they scared the spirit.
Could be.
Spirit, can you imagine? Like, it's just walking down the hall and just like, oh, shit, like... That was I had two initial reactions. One, they're the ones getting scared, but two, maybe the ghost was scared too. It's like, why did you do that?
So
minding my own business.
Guides and stuff, just kind of wrapping up here. Guides who have been, I guess they get assigned, like it's a rotation, like, oh, okay, you're in the East Wing, you're in the bubble. So people literally, what they said, I just found this when I was going through Reddit. I thought it was funny. This guy said, I worked at Mansfield during the summer job. I'm like, what a great summer job. I know stupid summer jobs like mowing lawns. Anyway,
I would love, even though I will say my college job was at a haunted vet. It was just like a vet's office, but like there was something that we caught on camera that was like a shadow figure that was going back and forth in like our surgery suite. And there was like security cameras in there. So like I've worked at a haunted place, but not somewhere where it's like the whole purpose is being haunted. And I would love that. I would love to work somewhere like that. That would be so cool.
That's what I said. So anyway, they had these people who have been down there. They all do the same thing, like flip a coin. They'll be like, okay, heads, you get it. No, I don't want it. Like they literally have to beg people to go down there and do it. So this one guy, he lost the bet. He went down there. And again, he heard shuffling noises. And then he heard inside the hole, he heard a person breathing. No. So he thought it was somebody in there. He was really concerned.
A real life, like a human.
Yeah. He was really concerned.
A live person.
Like a tour, something happened, right? So as soon as he goes in there, the door slams.
No.
Now, they did something smart. I don't know if you know this, at grocery stores, I worked at a grocery store a long time ago. Well, so you don't get caught in there. They have a panic button or they have a switch you can do to open the door. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Because your cell phone service does not work down there. So even if you have, why don't you grab your cell and call somebody, right? I'm stuck. So they actually have things set up you can get out of there. But he said he was in there for a few seconds and it just felt like someone was enveloping him. Like a blanket. You know how you might take a blanket when you're cold and you wrap it around yourself? That's what he felt.
Oh, that's eerie. Yeah. That's eerie.
Yeah. But that was the only.
That is so.
Yeah, all the other stories are I don't go in there. I'm not going in there. Forget it. No way. So that.
I don't think I'd be able to go down there by myself. I would go down there, but not alone.
Never gonna happen.
Especially after that. Because that to me sounds like something's trying to attach itself.
Never gonna happen.
To you.
Yeah, never gonna happen.
I hate that.
Never, ever, ever, ever.
I hate it.
So like I said, There's a bunch of tours you can take. You can take the haunted tour. I believe it goes from late September or mid-September to Halloween, obviously. You can see the Shawshank Redemption tour. They have all the movie props there. You can walk around there. You can take numerous ghost tours. But most people are like, yeah, I'm one and done. Like nobody goes back unless they're like us. We're like, I want to go back again. Come on. Experience.
Like I just want to be in haunted places.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like I said, look at it. And you'll like me and Courtney said, I think it's gorgeous. I think it looks like this old timey castle. And that
it's really unsuspecting that it would be. I mean, like it's a beautiful building.
Yeah.
Like architecturally just very, very breathtaking,
Yes.
but like you wouldn't think that all of that tragedy happened there. And like from what it sounds like there are hundreds of ghosts.
Yes.
So
and I'm the tip of the iceberg. This is the tip. So, that's just to let you know that. And like I said, dairylandfrights@gmail.com. If you had an experience there, send it to us. That'd be really great. So I have to ask, because I always ask this at the end of my podcast, do you believe it's haunted, Courtney?
Yeah, you would have to. I mean, I have, like I said, I kind of take a skeptical look at some of the stories or most of the stories that I talk about on my podcast, not to discredit them, but just to look at both sides. And there are some where I have found like hard evidence where I know that this is just hearsay.
Correct.
But if you have, photo evidence, like you said, EVPs, and just like that many eyewitness accounts and people that are actually like pushed, you can't like make that feeling up. No. So yeah, I think it has to be.
It has to be. So that
it has to be.
That's a double yes.
Yeah.
It is a double yes. So, Courtney, this is great. I hope you really like this. I hope you were surprised by this and maybe learned something along the way.
I did. I feel like, when we started talking about it, I definitely have heard of like the hole before. And I also heard, like I said, towards kind of the beginning when you were talking about like the cells, I knew that was like, that they would like shove people essentially into these tiny cells. So, but like for the most part, I hadn't heard a lot about that. So that was really fun for me and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, this has been great. I love being on Haunt's podcast. It was so much fun.
Well, thank you.
Hopefully we can do this in the future. I'm going to send you that Phoebe lady, the hermit.
Yeah.
And you can look at it. Tell me what you think. If that's something we want to do a joint thing, that'd be awesome. You want to cut whatever. It's just
for
so
sure
awesome. But again, I love learning so much about you, Courtney. This is so much fun, and hopefully we can do this again sometime. As far as Dairyland Frights, again, you can follow me on Instagram and YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all those great sites. You listen to Dairyland Frights wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. So, Courtney, is there anything you want to add before we call it a spooky night?
No, you guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HauntsCast. And then once again, my website is hauntscast.com, and you can contact me on the contact form there if you have any insights to what we talked about today, especially how to get the ghost to stop locking me out of my house. That would be sick. But
and by the way, Courtney has some
other than that,
Courtney has some amazing stories, some personal experiences. So please take a look at that. We always end. I always end this podcast by telling your ghost you say hi. So I will say hi from Courtney if I bump into a ghost, or you can say hi from Courtney from John too. If you have a ghost in your house, hey, tell them hi from Courtney and John.
You can tell them hi. I'm sure right now.
Hi, ghost. Okay.
For real.
Awesome.
Yeah. They're around somewhere.
Thank you so much. This has been a great experience. I love it. And hopefully sometime we do this in the future.
For sure. I really appreciate it. And thanks so much for having me. That was a blast.
Yes. Thanks for so much having me. Awesome. All right. Stay spooky, everybody.